In early November 2022, a millennial investor from Atlanta, Georgia, with considerable wealth and a mysterious personality, was finally unmasked as one of the largest Bitcoin holders in the world. Our story begins in northern Georgia on the shores of Lake Lanier in Hall County. Lake Lanier is a 1,000 square mile man-made lake. A popular vacation destination, Lake Lanier is the place to be in Georgia during the hot summer months. Nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains resides a quiet lakeside town called Gainesville. This 40,000 resident town is known as the poultry capital of the world due to the number of poultry plants within its confines. Gainesville also has an active real estate market with a number of Georgia's most sought-after multi-million-dollar homes. Northeast of Atlanta, on the morning of November 9, 2021, FBI and IRS agents conducted an authorized search of a lakeside multi-million-dollar residence in Gainesville, Georgia. The individual apprehended at the time was only known in court documents as Individual 1. This arrest produced the second largest asset seizure in U.S. history. Officers recovered roughly 50,491 Bitcoin divided into two different areas amongst the residents. The first devices were found in a floor safe under the master bedroom, and the second, a single-board computer otherwise known as a Raspberry Pi, was stuffed into a popcorn tin in the master bathroom closet. They also recovered $600,000 in cash and several gold and silver bars. This asset seizure is connected to the Silk Road dark market court case. At the 2015 sentencing of its alleged founder, Ross Ulbricht, the Southern District of New York concluded that all funds transacting through Silk Road's Bitcoin-based payment system were involved in Ulbricht's money laundering scheme and thus forfeitable, which meant that all 9.9 million Bitcoin that touched the Silk Road payment system are directly forfeitable proceeds of Ulbricht's crimes. So who is Individual 1? What does he have to do with the Silk Road? On November 7th, 2022, the IRS website shared a press release for the second largest asset seizure in U.S. history. In the press release, there is a link for Exhibit 5, the DOJ court document for the asset seizure. In this document, you can see Individual 1 obtained over 50,000 Bitcoin from the Silk Road dark market website in September 2012. Between September 12th and 20th, 2012, Individual 1 used a withdrawal processing vulnerability, triggering around 140 withdrawals from the Silk Road website, resulting in over 50,676 Bitcoin stolen. Individual 1 used 9 fraud accounts to pull off the heist. Well, what is a withdrawal processing vulnerability? Well, if Individual 1 at 5 p.m. deposits 500 Bitcoin into their Silk Road account, that account is an escrow account. So then, 5 minutes later, Individual 1 does 5 rapid withdrawals of the 500 Bitcoin each that's in that escrow account, and the end result at 5:06 is Individual 1 has 2,000 Bitcoin plus his original 500, and the Silk Road is out of 2,000 Bitcoin from their escrow account. Who is Individual 1? It turns out Individual 1 is a 32-year-old Gainesville, Georgia resident known as James Zong, who's also a prominent real estate broker in the southeastern region of the U.S. Going by the alias Loaded on the Bitcoin Talk forum, James is already a well-known figure in the Bitcoin space. James went as far as sharing his wallet address to pretty much anyone who would listen on the forum. Notice the highlighted wallet address and Loaded signature on the Bitcoin Talk forum. This is confirmed he was in fact Loaded. The top post is James' first post as Loaded on the Bitcoin Talk forum. Notice the signature at the bottom of the post, I am Loaded, with the same wallet address. This same address was cited in the Exhibit 5 DOJ court documents as the address responsible for holding the stolen funds from the Silk Road. James was an active user of the forum, bragging about his Bitcoin bag, showing off his wallet address to anyone who would listen, and even lying about purchasing a new Bugatti. Loaded, or James Zong, however, did have some substantial Bitcoin holdings. Using the blockchain and the forum, we can confirm that James indeed had around 200,000 Bitcoin in his possession at one point. Using the blockchain and the forum, we can also see he had some exposure to the Mt. Gox crash, and even joked about traveling to Japan to recover funds. At one point, James bet against the founder of Bitcoin Cash, Roger Ver. The deal was 1 of Roger's Bitcoin for 2 of James' Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash was a hard fork of Bitcoin, created by Roger Ver. What's important to know here is whoever currently had Bitcoin in this time, a similar estimated amount of Bitcoin Cash was given to the Bitcoin user once the Bitcoin Cash blockchain was live. Once the Bitcoin Cash blockchain went live, James Zong, or Loaded, used an international cryptocurrency exchange to sell off the Bitcoin Cash, connected with the 50,000 Bitcoin, and buying back roughly 3,500 Bitcoin with those proceeds. In Exhibit 5, you'll see that this tip is really what kickstarted the FBI in 2018 to begin looking into these stolen funds. So here it is, the $3.3 billion question. How was James caught? According to Athens Police Department, Lieutenant Barnett, in March 2019, James called the Athens Police Department to report a burglary at his Ruth Street home. When he arrived home from vacation, the window was broken into, and according to James, roughly $400,000 along with a USB drive with some other personal valuable info was stolen from his home. James was being vague, but this strange admission and the large amount of cash stolen raised eyebrows within the department, and quickly the IRS and the FBI were notified of the burglary and the items stolen from his residence. About a year after this incident, evidence on the blockchain of someone trying to move the missing Silk Road funds began to pour in. James chose a pretty rudimentary way of trying to launder the Bitcoin funds by using a technique called peel chaining, that it was really only a matter of time until law enforcement caught up with James. It took 5 months of prison time, but James finally gave in and began cooperating with the authorities to find the rest of the forfeitable Bitcoin. So James, while not considered a hacker, was at a minimum entrepreneurial and opportunistic. Outside of being a Bitcoin whale, James held a number of high-value assets in his name. James held an 80% interest in RE&D Investments LLC, a Memphis-based real estate firm, incorporated by his business partner, Clayton Kemker. Zong started RE&D Investments with Clayton in Memphis, Tennessee. Kemker provided the sweat equity, while Zong owned 80% of the development business. Kemker got a start in real estate with his father Frank, a well-known developer in the local Memphis area. They began their operations out of Kemker's multi-million-dollar childhood home outside of Memphis, but only a few months after incorporating, they changed their address to the shopping center in Germantown, Tennessee. RE&D Investments purchased 2 substantial properties in the downtown Memphis area. In August 2018, they purchased 193 Pine Street for $650,000, and then in May 2019, they purchased 2098 York Avenue for $15 million out of an $80 million loan. On November 16, 2020, RE&D Investments LLC applied for pilot programming to redevelop the Central Yards area of downtown Memphis. Clayton Kemker of RE&D, with his father Frank's backing, and what seems to me like the community's backing as well, applied for an $80 million development project loan and was accepted. The deal was RE&D would supply a down payment of $15 million and was financing the remaining $65 million. This project was probably the most ambitious project Memphis has seen in the last 20 years, and when looking at other developments in the city, this one really stands out with its grand scale and size. Not to mention being able to afford a $15 million down payment for your second property ever. When James was arrested in 2021, this ambitious project that was for the community by the community was stalling and hitting roadblocks. After the arrest, Zong was released after paying a $310,000 bond. When deadlines were no longer being met by Zong after prosecutors raided Zong's home, Kemker tried to buy Zong out of the business. But a deal was never reached, and ultimately leading to an involuntary bankruptcy filing against the company in November 2022. Hi everyone, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. If you have a specific story in mind that you'd like me to cover, please let me know. I'll be tagging my email below. I created this channel for a couple reasons. The first is to utilize some of the audio and video post-production skills I already have. And I really like to create in different ways than I ever have before using those skills. So this is just another attempt at that. The second and probably the biggest inspiration behind this channel is my interest in crime. I'll be covering a bunch of different topics, including other famous criminal and financial investigations as well. So I know that this first one was very Bitcoin based, but it's not always going to be like that. Some of it's going to be technology, some of it's going to be the cartels, some of it's going to be banks, foreign banks, just going to be pretty much rolling with whatever I find interesting. So I'll be sharing my Bitcoin wallet address in the comments or in the information below if you'd like to donate. It would really help me tremendously keep everything going. It really keeps the channel moving forward and keeps me creating content. So yeah, thank you. Thank you guys very much for watching the channel. Appreciate it. See ya.